I know you create your own luck, but we're building player pools that are bigger, more competitive. So it's not just about like staying kind of afloat in the top 5, it's about being number 1 and staying there.
For the past decade, the mantra of the women's team has been to inspire the next generation. Now, that generation gets to carry the torch. Week in, week out, coast to coast.
Watching their 2012 Olympic run, as a 12-year-old, wow, that was what I wanted to do. I just really hope we can be those role models and show that this is a reality, and if you're a young girl, you can play pro and you can play at home.
I see myself in them. I remember going to BMO Field, watching Christine Sinclair, Desiree Scott, Diana Matheson, and thinking like, I want to be out there one day. And so now, be in that reverse role where little girls are going to be coming to watch me play, watch my teammates play, is really, really exciting.
Since the beginning, co-founder Diana Matheson was clear. This wasn't just to be a league for Canadians, but a league the world would respect and want to play in. 6 teams will feature players from 21 nations, including 40 players who have played at the international level.
The sky's the limit, really, for this place, and women's football is just skyrocketing right now. So I think, although it's been a bit delayed for Canada, like they're coming in at a really, really good time.
I think this could be potentially a blueprint for how to do things in women's sports. I hope it will, and that's which is an important step, not for Canadian football, but for women's football.
The fans are incredible. It feels like every third person you talk to has season tickets. You guys are the guys like, oh, I got my season tickets too, and I was like, damn, we really got to put a show on when it comes out. So we're excited, and we hope the fans are excited to just see us leave it out on the pitch.
That song gets me jacked up every single time I hear it. Welcome back inside BMO Field for the NFL on TSN, brought to you by BMO. AFC Toronto and the Montreal Roses are about to kick off. And Cara, the atmosphere in here is ramping up. What do you make of the vibes in here right now?
This place filled up quick. We knew it was going to be good when we heard that the match was sold out, but it is just so thrilling to see the support for this league. The fans have showed up and they are showing out.
And so many youth teams here too. That's what Marko Milanovic said to us. He knows of so many youth teams from the area buying tickets en masse. And now listen, you've played in some massive games. What do you think the players are thinking right now?
Right now, it's go time. No second guessing. They've prepared for this moment. And as Montreal head coach Robert Rositoyu said, this is exactly what they've signed up for.
You know what else? I had the privilege of being on the field with some little kids and little girls in their jerseys in game 1. And as I look at the little girls, little kids about to walk out on the field, this is thrilling for them too. It's really impacting so many different generations of players. And here's Andre DeGrasse, delivering the game ball. As we said, he is an AFC Toronto investor, so a great moment for that team. And listen, we're just getting started. We are moments away from the first chapter of the NSL's Toronto-Montreal rivalry. Let the games begin.
Here we go. I'm on new level.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able to, would you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of today's national anthem, performed by award-winning Canadian singer-songwriter Lindsay L. She's also joined on the pinch by influential leaders from Toronto Tempo, Toronto Scepters, and AFC Toronto who are holding the AFC logo banner. This monument highlights the unity, strength, and growth of the women's game in Toronto.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us commands. Carton brassé porter les pays, il s'est porté la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Let's head up to the booth and join the two women calling this game, the always brilliant Signa Butler and Amy Walsh.
Kate, thank you so much. I know it's gray skies in Toronto today, but it's 19 degrees and everyone is excited for game number 2. The first official sellout in Northern Super League history, 14,500 fans to be introduced to two new teams, the hosts AFC Toronto and the visiting Montreal Roses. Two teams ready to strut their stuff, Amy.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see how these two teams clash. As I mentioned earlier, Wednesday night was when it all kicked off, that every single team in this league will have their chance, will have the occasion where it'll be a night or an afternoon, in this case, of first. So really excited to see how it all plays out.
And first in the middle today with the referee's whistle, it's Carly Shaw McLaren, the 28-year-old from Prince George, BC. FIFA referee since 2022. Emma Regan there on the left. And Megan Sauvé on the right-hand side for the Montreal Roses. And we saw the friendly opponents shake hands off the top. But in 90 minutes, it's going to look a little bit different, perhaps. Here's our starting 11, presented by DoorDash. And I know you talked a little bit off the top about the Roses. Who do you see on AFC Toronto as being a factor?
Cara already highlighted Emma Regan, but to see Emma Regan come on when there was interim head coaches, Cindy Ty, the U20 coach, in the fall after Bev Priestman left, and the way that she's imposed herself on the international stage, I expect her to do the same early on for NSL. So I think everything will revolve and go through Emma Regan.
And how about Montreal? Let's take a look at their starting 11. And who is your factor there?
I mentioned off the top Buildup, who I think will be key, and Boychuk as well. But I think it's that attacking trident. I mean, the absences, that we're not talking about with Toronto. I think there's still a roster with incredible depth, but you're missing some big names like Maya Jones, Leah Pace across the top. But here, like the triumvirate of Boychuk, Abdu, and Sauvé are going to be tough to reckon with if you're Toronto.
Teams going through their final paces on the pitch, the fans looking on hand. And will this Montreal-Toronto rivalry turn into the Canadians and Maple Leafs? Well, we've got a century and a half to find out. But right now, Robert Rossetoyu, he said he was going to wear that tracksuit today, and he did. Marko Milanovic looking nice and calm with his assistant there, Sylvia Forbes. He said it was just like any other game, but I think deep down inside, we know what those nerves feel like. We've all been there before.
It's a good vibe, though.
Oh,
He
yeah.
looks relaxed.
Emma Regan with some final words for her team. AFC Toronto in the vermilion and red. Victoria Pickett coming in for one last little chat. And the Roses already on the pitch, ready to go. They'll be on the ball first, wearing those white jerseys with blue shorts. Canadian national team coach said she's expecting a high-level, competitive football match. Montreal in town to face AFC Toronto, and it kicks off right now. Let's go, game number 2, Northern Super League. And right away, Montreal going at Toronto's defense. Toronto lining up in a 3-4-3. While Montreal a 4-3-3 to start today.
And using Didbo right in the thick of things from the kickoff, looking for that long ball and that flick on, try to surprise AFC Toronto and drawing the foul early on as well.
Some physical play early on in this match. We saw that in the Vancouver-Calgary game on Wednesday night. But Montreal on the attack. Broken up.
Getting stuck in right away. I mean, that's part of it, is how do you settle those nerves? We talked about that a little bit, Signa. Sometimes it's the first, even though this is the first home game for AFC Toronto, Montreal Rose's first game as well, but it's getting stuck in on that first tackle, that first touch, that first connection with the teammate. It's really important from the get-go, just so you feel anchored and you feel yourself in the game and you're fully engaged.
Oh, giveaway right away, and the shot, and it's in, the Montreal Roses pulling off an early goal. Tanya Boychuk, the co-captain, converting.
Just stunning, this crowd. That's a terrible, absolutely shocking giveaway by Katembo that actually plays Boychuk in. So all she has to do is take a touch and neatly pass it by Manor. But I mean, that is what Tanya Boychuk is billed to do. That is why she's signed. That's why she was sought after. The Roses went it and got her. So with her left foot, just calmly passes it by Manor to her left side. But just maybe, those nerves again, Signa. You don't know what it's about. Katembo seemed to check her shoulders, seemed to be aware of everything around her, except the on-rushing and poaching Tanya Boychuk.
Well, Edmonton's Tanya Boychuk giving the Montreal Roses their first goal in franchise history. There's Esther Okarongo. Big tackle.
Huge tackle by Lees. You can imagine that Katembo Signa is going to want to make amends for that early error, and this is a good response from AFC Toronto.
First corner kick of the match. Lots of action inside the 18-yard box. There it comes in. Falls up. Hit away by Karpenko. Karpenko, the Richmond Hill, Ontario native, playing in front of friends and family today.
That was a really well swung in ball there. In swinger by Barnett that immediately put the Roses to the test. Failed to clear it, came to the top of the box, but were able to get it out of danger. But we saw on Wednesday there were a number of corner kicks, a number of set pieces, some that were dangerous, but they failed to capitalize. But we'll see if it goes a bit differently here today.
Boychuk playing across the middle. Tackled by Ashuri, and she'll get whistled for the foul. Shayna Ashuri.
Didbo looks to be in some trouble, but should be fine. Caught a little bit late.
Marko Milanovic, obviously not to start his club wanted in their home game here. Plenty of time left on the clock. I don't need to tell you that. Ball in. Manner. Sophia Manner, the keeper for Toronto. Coming out, the Helsinki, Finland native. Part of the Orlando Pride organization last year, the reigning NWSL champs.
See there, Manner just a little bit, not really eager to get things going. I think she sees Hansen ready to go there, but the pitch runs quick here at BMO Field. As you saw there, is just run out of play.
Bodies falling all over the place as teams try to get a grip on this game and get possession of this game. We expected some early jitters early on in this match, and we've seen them so far.
Now it's about what is the response? You know, can AFC Toronto, can they come up with the composure to settle things down, to be cognizant of the fact that they're down early? You know, but tactically things I assume stay very much the same. You know, this is a scenario that they would have gone over with Coach Milanovic, but I think you very much just stay the course and play your game and see how it all comes off. You've got the whole kind of almost the 45 minutes to play, save a few minutes.
All cleared by the Roses. Kayla Hansen trying to get that upfield. Hong Hae-ji, the South Korean international, putting it out of touch. Hae-ji playing in that center of the three-back for Toronto. Regan. Victoria Pickett. And her former Canadian international. She's got a little bit of a go there. And that'll be a foul.
You know, that's what Pickett is capable of. So those two huge stars there in Regan and in Pickett get their team out of danger, and Pickett has this in her locker, just the ability to sniff out space and to drive into it aggressively and to shake off defenders and wins her team a free kick in the offensive third.
Toronto has some targets up there. Hong Hae-ji. Short.
I think it was just mishit signal.
That I was being kind.
You could have a do-over. That one's going a little bit deeper.
Heavy tackle by Uttenberg. Chloe Uttenberg, if you're familiar with the St. Kitts and Nevis International, playing at right back for Toronto. AG touching it back to Manner. Scrambling.
It is. You're seeing, you're gonna see the style of play develop over the course of this season. This is a starting point. It's the build-up to the beginning of this league, but this is very much a starting point for these players. So you're gonna see partnerships develop, but you're gonna also, to steal a word from Casey Stoney, you're gonna see it be clunky sometimes. You know, even defensively, and until that back line starts to get to know each other's tendencies and how to read the game and read off one another and cover. And make sure that they're insulating one another. Regan on the back line, it's going to look a little bit maybe unfamiliar and a little bit uncomfortable sometimes, but that's all part of it.
Regan. Uttenberg. Touch by Uttenberg. Back in. Outside. Abdu has to force a save by Manner.
Great try by Abdu. You know, Poque, as soon as she gets, I don't think initially on her first touch, she sees Abdu on her right. As soon as she springs her, you know that Latifa Abdu is looking to go 1v1, and she does, but I think that last touch takes her a little bit too far away from goal or maybe where she wants to go, but is still able to test manner, and that's what you want to do early on so to keep the pressure on AFC Toronto.
Megan Sauvé on the corner. The in-swing missed hit. So no threat there. There was a threat early on. Montreal Roses with a 1-0 lead. With an early goal. We're not even 10 minutes into this match. Udford getting caught in her own end. And it's not out of danger yet. Abdu loves to go one-on-one, decides to pass it off this time. Cross in. 6'1" Manor coming off her line.
I think defensively, this is pretty sloppy from AFC Toronto, and this is well below probably the standard that they've set for themselves. But I think the good news is they can clean it up a lot and be a little bit more self-assured as they're building out from their own third. But all credit to the Roses and the pressure that they're able to put on them, and is causing them to cough up the ball in possession.
Both of these teams, 10-week preseason. They played some exhibition matches, mostly closed-door exhibition matches. Although Montreal did play Ottawa Rapid in a match just last week. It's really tough to get that game experience and really, like you said, mesh with your 11 right off the bat. Toronto, as we know, a couple injuries as well in their lineup, not playing today. A break for Paquin. Holds it up. Nice recovery. But again, Montreal winning it. Pickett. Out wide. Okoronkwo! That physical play! Okoronkwo in front! And is this a chance for AFC Toronto? No!
Great initiative there, great physicality, and just intent. That's what's lacking a little bit from AFC Toronto. So all day long, Okoronkwo is going to beat Leafs to the ball, and she does. And just bodies her over. Could have maybe kept going there, but there are numbers in the box for AFC Toronto. But just a wayward strike at the end. Sees that all go for naught, but great initiative and great play, kind of spearheading the attack by Okoronkwo.
Okoronkwo, Cara was talking about her off the top, from Nigeria, 15 caps for country, 6 goals. And of course, the pedigree of playing at a Women's World Cup in 2023 and the Paris Olympics this past summer.
That's the type of, pedigree is the word. It's the players of a certain caliber, of a certain stature, of renown, that are all over this league. That initially, Diana saying it's going to be a top 5 league before a ball's even kicked. I think now that the proof is in the pudding. This is high-flying, good quality football.
Arnett. Back to Regan, under pressure. Under pressure, gets out of pressure, but not quite. Paquin.
Paquin has been buzzing around there, being a nuisance. Finding space and initiating the attack, not always capitalizing and keeping possession, maybe maintaining composure, but has been buzzing around near Regan and winning most of those duels in the middle of the park.
Bodies down for AFC Toronto.
The level of commitment on tackles and bodies flying around and physicality so far through 2 matches has been pretty impressive.
Pingo way off her line. Tempo giving the ball away. Abdu! And that'll go wide. I think her teammate interfering a bit with her line.
been, a little bit more well-designed, I think more effective by Whitaker to draw defenders away instead of congesting the area herself and then bringing her marker in with her.
Barnett, Ashuri, back to Hansen. Better from Toronto.
And Montreal set up kind of in a mid-block, and to listen to Coach Rossitoyu, that he wants a team that's adaptable, that they're able to read the game themselves, they're prepared to be excellent in all phases of the game, but he wants the initiative to be with his players, that the onus is on them to make the adjustments.
The ball over top, no flag yet. Banner just hesitant to come off her line, but picks up the ball. Little hesitation.
And a little hesitation from Abdu as well. I felt like if she kept going at full clip there, at full speed, could have caused more problems for Manor.
Observation from Marco Milanovic when they came to train at Depot Field was that the dirt was quite slick and looked a lot, doesn't look as fast on TV, but boy is it fast. And speaking of fast, coming down Barnett with that left-footed cross. And Barnett is a player that really impressed with AFC Toronto. The type of player, as Milanovic said, that when she's not at training, you can tell she's not there. She just pushes the standard. She has a lot of joy in the way she plays.
Yeah, there's a tenacity about her play and what she brings, and to hear Milanovic speak, it's a tone that she sets and brings everybody along with her, maybe even without saying a word. It's just, by putting in 100% every single time, and the quality on top of it. So you've seen her a couple times now with that sweet left foot miss the mark, but doesn't stop trying. So it's going to hit the frame eventually if she keeps getting those opportunities in dangerous areas.
Barnett from the Santa Clara Broncos. They actually scouted her at the NCAA tournament in Cary, North Carolina this past year. They were just so impressed with Colby Barnett, and finds herself north of the border. Canada, she's from California.
Judged by Whitaker, but no trouble. Gets the throw. I think that you're seeing Montreal so far, Signa, go a little bit more direct than I was maybe expecting. But it's come off. They're able to find either Boychuk or Abdu as a target player, and they're able to link up. And no overwhelming spells of possession, but they've been vertical and they've been effective in the attack. And coupled with untidy play from AFC Toronto, has seen them recover balls in dangerous areas and go to goal quickly.
Boychuk, Abdu. In there by Regan just in time. There goes Pickett again. Pickett has deceptive pace as well, especially when she's on the ball.
Absolutely. One of these players too that maybe throws the defender off. Thinks, okay, I'm into this challenge. I can hang with her, and then all of a sudden she's into daylight and shakes it off and escapes the pressure.
Off on that pass, I think, for Barnett.
There's a bit of a frenetic pace to this game so far. I can't imagine that all 90 will continue like this, or if it would be sustainable. And I don't know if either coach would want to see their team try and play at this pace. So I think eventually one of these teams is going to put their foot on the ball, but right now it suits Montreal just fine, leading 1-0.
Putting the ball back. See so much go through AG in the back.
AFC Toronto, they've so far been unable to do this. They've been unable to find those players that are going really wide on either side because the quality hasn't been there in the past.
Sauvé. Montreal Roses.
Yeah, referee allowed that to play on. I think rightfully so. That was the right call. And then Smith, just after the fact, really late. So Okoronkwo gets by, leaves, and then Okoronkwo plays it back, lays it off to her teammate, and gets punched. A little stud left on her there by Jody Smith.
Field for the second game of the Northern Super League season. The Montreal Roses with a very early goal against AFC Toronto to spoil the party at first, but I can hear the drums going off and everyone's still into it. There's lots of time left. Over 21 minutes in this game. Montreal throw in deep in Toronto zone. And then pass a little bit behind her, and they're not able to kind of get in behind, get that stretch and to test Montreal because the pass is a little bit behind her, but that's the right idea. I think you saw Montreal deep in the offensive third, and AFC Toronto were able to break the press, but not fully committed from the Roses with Abdu leading the line, kind of going in half measures, and you have to be fully committed if you've got numbers in that offensive third. Vicky Small looking to turn, and does. Broken up. Montreal will get the throw.
Nikki Small drifting around there. Milanovic talked about her back where she belongs in the central channel where she can be dangerous. And she wasn't on the ball a whole lot in the first couple of minutes, and now she's finding it, she's taking it out, and her teammates haven't able to connect with her so far.
Tempo. The cross! Little too heavy by Victoria Pickett, but a nice opportunity for the home team.
Yeah, you're seeing AFC Toronto slowly come to life, a little bit more time on the ball, but mostly I think most of this has been self-inflicted. They've been really untidy, they've been sloppy, they've given the ball away in dangerous areas, making it easy for the Montreal Roses.
Sauvé did well to get on that ball. AG and cleared away out of danger, well up the pitch. And off her line, and Karpenko is in trouble. Karpenko's got to be careful.
That's Karpenko just keeping in touch, keeping engaged with her back line, kind of playing that sweeper role. And we heard Russ Toyu talk about the difference, that it's going to be a competition between Gab Lambert and Anna Karpenko. She wins out today, but she's more aggressive and staying tighter to her back line and higher up the pitch. But always weighing that risk versus reward, right, yeah. Signa? But there it comes off, it pays off, able to clear lines and to clear danger.
Robert Osatoyu. Had a great call with him, talking about the philosophy of the team, about the 4 pillars they have and the motto. I love the motto: lead the way, light the path, be limitless. And actually very similar pillars for both of these two teams. So it'll be interesting to see how the players respond in those messaging. But I really love that from Montreal Roses.
I guess his philosophers have on page to me as well. You could sit and listen to him talk tactics and talk playing philosophy for days, and you get the sense that, you know, if you ply him with a beer or maybe some tea and some biscuits, that he'd be willing to do it as well.
Toronto's tagline has been "Run it our way." A platform for women to achieve greatness, and greatness on their terms. Again, just wonderful messaging as these clubs are starting from scratch. I mean, it's a rare opportunity. Whoa, Chloe Unburn taking a risk up the middle. Managing to get out of it. Barnett coming back, and that goes right back to Hansen. And off the pitch, squeaking through, but Emma Regan won't get on that.
Remember I talked about the frantic nature of this game so far? It hasn't really settled down. Like, there's no team has been able to put their stamp on the game and gain a semblance of control here. There's still bodies flying into challenges. You like the commitment on that. You like the engagement of all the players and the competitiveness. But, you know, for two teams who want to be on the ball, who want to dictate tempo, right now neither is doing that. It feels like it's slightly out of control, like somebody's taped your foot to the accelerator. So I think that probably both coaches want to see that reeled in certain moments, but then, you know, the intensity, you want it to remain in certain phases of the game.
Pickett.
Very soft start as well, you know, so it's that lack of fluidity, and it tests your mental engagement.
The tempo. Ball making a run. Small. The ball on the right side. Looking for a target. The ball's in. Oh, what a chance! Shayna Shorey.
We talked about Nikki Small seeking that ball out. She has acres of space. That alley Hess needs to close down a little bit more. But see how Montreal, they are not playing. Montreal Roses have numbers in the box, and they're unable to contain a Shorey and three-header. Dangerous one at that. So if you do sing them, it's not MLS.
Well, you do a lot of, to be fair, you do a lot of that.
And yes.
Okay. Game 2, right? Northern Super League. By the way, 75-game schedule. So everybody plays each other 5 times. And it's just really interesting because it's a league that starts from scratch. You're not just joining a team that has 12 players and you try and find your place within the team. It's like everyone's meeting each other on day 1.
Yep.
And they've had 10 weeks to develop their style of play, their philosophy, players coming in and out. Of course, the transfer window in July, you'll see some movement there as well. Ball long by Pickett.
Hear Marko Milanovic talk about his team and how they want to play. It's what you mentioned, it's run it our way, but how it comes to life on the pitch. He talked about the importance of lively and dynamic wingbacks. And you're not seeing it kind of classically, because I mentioned the width where you've got players positioned there in possession where they're almost 4 across that front line. But you're seeing Small come to life. She's drifting into the half spaces. She's pulling wide to receive the ball. You're seeing that connection with the Shuri and Barnett on the left-hand side as well. So some things slowly developing, you know, starting from scratch, but we're seeing it come to life.
Emma Regan with the shot! Oh my! Carpenco has to be on her toes!
Great strike from distance from Emma Regan. We know that she has the capacity to do this, but pretty far out. I don't know if that's 30 yards, but it's maybe 26 or 7, and has to go. And I think the skip on the turf surprises Karpenko, and maybe she only gets sight of it a little bit later. So slow to react, but is there to parry it away.
Regan from Burnaby, BC, the 25-year-old with 8 caps for Canada, 5 starts. We saw her play 90 minutes against Argentina at the most recent series of friendlies in Vancouver in front of her friends and family. And here's a corner kick for Toronto. Headed away by Montreal. Pickett. Tembo playing tight.
See Capadonna with the header to clear lines there to get back organized. Stalwart at UConn.
Yeah, the UConn Huskies. Fresh off their women's basketball championship. Looking long to Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo wide. Well played, little too heavy, but right idea from AFC Toronto.
Yeah, Okoronkwo there takes a look, sees the wide player available, but again, you know, the pitch running quickly, you're seeing the players slow to adapt to that, where the ideas are good, the intent is good, but the quality and the execution is not quite there yet.
Fans getting involved in this game don't like the call from Carly Shaw McLaren, but she's got a good handle on this match so far.
Karpenko down.
One thing we did see in the match on Wednesday night was a lot of cramping towards the later stages of the game.
This might be one of those tactical injuries.
I didn't want to speculate,
she
Amy
says
Wall.
cynically. She did have kind of that reactive save. Who knows? And you know, the sideways movement when she was tested by Emma Regan from distance requires a little bit of attention, but also requires a little bit of a huddle by the other players to perhaps make some tactical tweaks. So here's that shot again. Emma Regan kind of pulled off to the right-hand side, but moving through some bodies, Julia Lees looks to get a touch on it. Actually, it deflects off her just slightly, and that's maybe what troubled Karpenko. It's been a good battle so far, Signa, between Julia Lees and Okoronkwo.
Julia Lees, 24-year-old, played in Sweden with the top club. I always say the name wrong, but so that's how you say it?
I will say yes, you are correct.
Yes. Google Translate did not tell me that, by the way.
I say yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Roses. Chuck, bring it all the way back for Penko. Haley Whitaker, ball taken away. Barnett tackles.
Pickett is able to drift over to that left-hand side. I mentioned the partnership blossoming and kind of coming to something or developing between Ashuri and Barnett, and you get one of those central players drifting over. It's been causing Whitaker some problems defending and decision-making and a little bit of hesitancy. So if they can keep creating those overloads on the left-hand side, I think AFC Toronto, much the way we've seen Nikki Small have some success down this right-hand channel, you might see it result in a more comprehensive and more attacking fluency from the Toronto side.
Small earning the foul. 10 minutes remaining in the opening half between AFC Toronto and the Montreal Roses. Montreal Roses with the early goal from their co-captain Tanya Boychuk on a sloppy error from Toronto. Here Barnett with that left-footed swinging. I was going to say swinging, but here it goes right to Emma Regan and back to Barnett.
High line by the Roses.
Ashuri cleared away, but a deep throw in for Toronto.
About the throw-in being lumped into the rest of the set pieces, Signa? Do you know that there are throw-in specialists now on staff?
I was quite, I don't want to say, but I liked a good throw-in myself.
I did
back
too.
in my day.
Yeah. I kind of got a throw back, but you're seeing Barnett be involved in all of the set pieces for AFC Toronto.
Sorry. For a corner kick.
Underestimate the worth and the value of a throw and what you can get out of it. And goes to show right here, AFC Toronto, you use a well-played throw, you post up on the player, ball to feet, and then they're forced to put it out for a corner.
And the outswinger, not quite where it needs to be. Nikki Small. Barnett, they get something going here. Barnett 1v1. Montreal there to tackle that away.
Yeah, good goal again. Really clever in her positional awareness. What are you smirking at, Signa Rutler?
Fans are getting it.
That's what you want, right? Part of being the home side is you get the benefit of the doubt at every turn.
Hansen waited for the ball, and Boychuk making her pay. Boychuk looking for her second the match. Across! Still alive! AFC Toronto escaping there. Montreal in transition had Toronto on their heels.
Of course, to recycle the ball, but Tanya Boychuk has been kind of what you expected out of Tanya Boychuk. The physical, aggressive nature, going to drive at players, cause problems, put them on their heels. That's what she's done.
That's Bird. Pickett with some space. Ashuri. Small. Okoronkwo. To the touchline. Back to back, but Karpenko is there.
That was the type of attack that we were expecting, or at least I was expecting out of AFC Toronto. Victoria Pickett, breaking lines, good combination play, releasing Okoronkwo on the channel or on the wing, takes it to the byline, but that last touch, that last decision, that last ball lets her down a little bit. But you see them, I think, getting a little bit closer to what they envisioned out of their home opener in the way of performance.
Regan with the run, and she gets the throw. The cross in! Goes at the end of it.
That's scored there by Lee. Expect more from her. You got to be able to connect, get your team out of danger.
Ball. Trying to play in Regan. Right idea, just a little too much pace on the pass.
The clock ticks over to the 40th minute. Signa, I think you've seen the tempo calm a little bit, and I think you've seen AFC Toronto really start to come to life in this contest, and now you're seeing Montreal Roses reeling a little bit.
Barnett. As a sure, he's going to go a little long. Small, you see in the center of your screen there, from Pickering, Ontario, just 21 years of age, a former youth international for Canada. Really been floating in there on the inside, just behind Okoronkwo, making some things happen. And that was something that you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Amy, that he has that ability, and Milanovic wants to see her do that.
Yep, she's crunching tackle again by Lee. So I mentioned that battle, that matchup. So far, I'm not sure who's winning, but more and more the needle seems to be pointed towards Okoronkwo, causing that backline trouble, but it's Lees who's having to come to the rescue frequently. So dives in there, maybe connects with the ball, but the leg, the knee, the thigh connects with Okoronkwo, so is able to win the free kick for AFC Toronto. So last time they elected to go short, and it was by design, something straight off the training pitch, went to Regan and went back to Barnett. But I think this time we see her swing it directly into that dangerous area.
Barnett going for goal, but Karpenko is there. Easily handled by the 23-year-old.
That ball signal by Barnett there, it doesn't have the pace on it, and I don't think she's intending to strike it on goal. She's got to go far post where he's got body. He's got numbers.
Regan, tempo, ball. Well in by Meiji. Nice touch by Thibault.
Yes. Get it up and over Edenberg, and then a little battle with Paquin, who's kind of a little bit more quiet, was more active and livelier through the beginning of this first half.
Regan winning the ball back. Well tackled by Capadonna. Capadonna leaves. Karpenko. Distribution.
I think you're seeing AFC Toronto, you're seeing it a little bit with the Roses, but especially with AFC Toronto in possession, a little bit calmer on the ball, being able to build up good spells of possession, and then when they're out of possession, more aggressive. That's when your foot's on the accelerator and they're putting the Roses under pressure.
He's going back to Karpenko. Ashuri was on the case, but not quite fast enough to get there. Okoronkwo down again. Slowing the pace down, she'll knock it out.
I do have to say, while Okoronkwo has been hammered so far through this first 45, had drawn a lot of fouls. That was a clean tackle that was won by the Montreal Roses, and Midbo with a good show of sportsmanship to kick it out of bounds. But Okoronkwo was on her way back to her feet anyway.
approaching the 45th minute in this opening half, the second game of the NSL season. Montreal Roses with a 1-0 lead, 2 minutes of added time. Whether that's enough time for one of these two teams to pad a lead or tie the game, we'll see. I have a feeling there's much more to this story that will be written in the second half. Tembo, Okaronkwo. The two roommates combining on the right-hand side of the field.
Referee allowing that physical play to continue. Play to play on. Yep.
Uttenberg picked off. Abdu over on the left side now. Called for the foul.
From the Roses' perspective, Signa, when we have seen them find success in the offensive third, it's via untidiness by AFC Toronto or a moment of individual brilliance where you've got Boychuk running at a player, you've got Abdu running at a player. I think Sauvé has been clattering tackle on the far side of the field. Barnett. The shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, shoulder to shoulder. Play allowed to continue. Barnett lost out with the shoulder to shoulder and then didn't like it very much and let Boychuk know. That's what I was saying about that front line. You haven't really seen the synergy, the chemistry, the interplay across that front line.
Well offside. Approaching the end of added time in the opening half. And Carly Shaw McLaren blowing the whistle. It's 1-0 for the visiting Montreal Roses thanks to a early 1-minute goal from Tanya Boychuk, the co-captain. So what will the second half have in store between these two rivals, Montreal and Toronto? We shall see, but right now it's the Roses with the upper hand. Boychuk with the goal. Will there be a response in this sellout crowd at BMO Field? Stay with us.
Welcome back to BMO Field for the NSL halftime presented by BMO. Kate McKenna and Cara Lang with you. And the score after 45, 1-0 for the Montreal Roses, thanks to a shockingly early goal, just 2 minutes in, Cara, by Tanya Boychuk. And that was, in fact, our impact insurance move of the half. Cara, take us through what happened here.
Well, as you said, it was shocking, and it was shocking because it started with a shocking giveaway by Nyota Katembo. She puts her back line in a really tough situation. It's a great through ball, but unfortunately to the wrong team. Boychuk poaches it, calm, cool, collected, slots it past Manor. In a game like this where nerves are a factor, scoring early was crucial, and Montreal did exactly that.
You know, before this game on social media, Montreal players were asked who they thought would score their very first goal, and they were correct. They correctly predicted Tanya Boychuk. In terms of Toronto, Cara, they seemed jittery, particularly at the back, but they did have some flashes of brilliance up front, didn't they?
Yes, they did. We saw the talent that Toronto has. It's just not yet coming together for them as a team. Emma Regan and Victoria Pickett were doing their best there in the midfield. We see Pickett here showing her ability, taking out 1, 2, 3 players, staying on the ball until she's eventually pushed off of it. And Esther Okoronkwo put in a great effort trying to get her team back on top, here winning the ball in a dangerous position, and this beautiful flick on by her as well. We see that Toronto has the ability. They've got all the tools in the toolbox. Emma Regan here with this shot. We knew somebody was going to have to be brave and have a go from distance, and of course it had to be Captain Emma Regan. Just not coming together yet for Toronto.
Not yet, but as you mentioned, another half to go. Let's check out the stats after 45. Cara, anything jump out to you here?
I think the attempted tackles is a big one for me. We see 7 here for the Roses in Montreal, and Amy was commenting on how physical this game was and how players were getting so stuck in, and I think it just shows how these players came in here with the attitude. They're so committed to their teams and committed to this game, and although it might not be, the things may not be coming together for them on the pitch yet, we're seeing them getting stuck in.
Indeed. Now let's go down to our own Ashley Docking. She's standing by with Montreal goalkeeper Anna Karpenko.
Anna, you guys are up 1-0 after the first. I know there's a lot of nerves coming into this one. How does a goal in the second minute help stop those a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it puts us on the front foot. Huge. Like, we can settle now and really try to close out the game. We don't need to worry. We would love to score some more goals, but we don't need to worry about that. Just keep playing our game and really come out with a statement, and I think we did that.
You have the best vantage point on the pitch, so what are you seeing in terms of the way that AFC is trying to organize?
Yeah, I mean, they're high pressing. A lot of the time, I don't have many outlets back there, but they're just really coming out with a lot of energy, so are we, and I think we've matched that really well. They have a lot of good individual players, so I think we're just going to have to stay on our A game for the second half.
Your coach said earlier that you guys want to control the pace from the defensive perspective as well. How do you think your team has done in the first?
Yeah, I think we have played a little bit longer, as expected, than what our identity is. Hopefully in the second half we can kind of take a step back and be able to get into the style that we've been training, that we know how to play. It's just tough when a team high presses the full half, and also when the field's a little bit slippery. So, but yeah, we've been holding the tempo, I think, in the back well. We have everyone back there, including myself, are confident with our feet, and so we'd like to play, and that's our kind of game style.
Thank you so much. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Karpenko absolutely confident in that first half. And we're just getting started, my friends. Lots more to come. You're watching the NSL on TSN, brought to you by BMO. Stay tuned.
This Northern Super League match is supported by DoorDash, proud founding partner of the NSL.
For the NSL halftime presented by BMO. It's 1-0 for the Montreal Roses at the half. And listen, there's much more to come today, but it's also worth looking ahead to upcoming action. Next Saturday, April 26th, goalkeeper Aaron McLeod and the Halifax Tides host the Calgary Wild in their season opener. Here's forward Cristobal Oduro on the mood in Halifax.
The fans are incredible. It feels like every third person you talk to has season. Come on. I promise. I came out of my condo and like we were wearing our jackets to go to training. So I was like, you guys players? And like, yeah, he's like, oh, so I have my season ticket. And literally that same night I ended up at Costco. And the lady like checking us out was like, you guys are the Tides? Like, oh, I got my season tickets too. And I was like, dang, we really got to put a show on when it comes out. So we're excited and we hope the fans are excited to see us move it out of the pitch.
Cristobal Oduro has such a magnetic personality. I think fans are going to fall in love with her. And Halifax and Calgary aren't the only teams playing next weekend. In fact, all 6 NSL teams are in action. On Sunday, Ottawa hosts Toronto and Vancouver hosts Montreal. Right now in Toronto, the score is 1-0 for the Montreal Roses after 45. Signa and Amy have all of your second half action coming up. Stay with us. This is the NSL on TSN, brought to you by BMO.
This Northern Super League match is supported by Simon, proud fashion partner of the NSL. Northern Super League match is supported by Canadian Tire, a proud founding partner of the NSL.
Fellow crowd on hand, 14,500 fans at BMO Field for a Montreal Roses 1-0 lead after 45 minutes over AFC Toronto. For one of those young stars on Montreal, let's get a little bit more from our Ashley Jockey.
Yes, Latifa Abzu, when she signed with the Montreal Roses, there was no roster. There was no coach, but she said she trusted sporting director Marionnette Pichon's vision. She said, I'm in, let's go, let's do it big. And she's done some big things in her young career. In 2023, she got the national team call-up and asked if it was a confidence boost. She said, yeah, for sure, but for me it was more reassurance that there are people that believe in me to keep going and do what I know that I can do. She's looking forward to building chemistry with this group. The Roses are so supportive of what they think she can do, and although she did not score the first goal, which is what their head coach thought, Robert said, I think she's the odds-on favorite to score first for us, and it was Boychuk. She's still a threat, Signa.
Thanks, Ashley. No changes for AFC Toronto at the half, at least at this stage. Their starting 11 is out there, and they've been warming up, getting ready to go. Still have yet to see the Montreal Roses, though, Amy. Is this a little gamesmanship?
I don't know. I don't think so. They're up. They don't necessarily need the gamesmanship at this point, do they? But, AFC Toronto were dictating the pace and the terms as that first half closed out. So maybe a little bit here, keep them waiting, and we'll see what happens, or maybe just a little bit of a hiccup with the timing.
It does give the opportunity for Emma Regan to have some words with her team, the captain of AFC Toronto, the 25-year-old from Burnaby, BC. See her at the center of your screen. So Tanya Boychuk with the goal in this match. Here come the Montreal Roses from the tunnel. Boychuk taking advantage of that early defensive error from AFC Toronto. What she does so well, pick puck, finds the corner, great finish.
For those opportunities, she either creates them on her own, or when she's gifted them, like on that occasion, then she's going to bury them. And that is exactly what the Roses were seeking when they signed Tanya Boychuk, and she delivers on day one for the Montreal Roses.
Set for the second half of this match. AFC Toronto looking to get back into this game, trailing 1-0. Early pressure, early throw. Nikki Paul as the shot squeaks through, but Karpenko is on it. Karpenko forced to make that save in the later stages of the half on a strike from Emma Regan from about, what did you say, 30 yards out, Amy?
If it wasn't 30, it was close. Which maybe, I think it didn't surprise Emma Regan to try herself from that distance, but it maybe surprised Karpenko.
Okoronkwo down again. She's been taking a beating up front.
Great touch by Paquin.
Paquin looking for a hole, can't find it. Hong Hei-Chi is there. Okoronkwo trying to get up, and AFC Toronto will circle around, trying to make a little bit of time for their star striker to get back up. Still struggling to get up. It's Shuri. Back to Kayla Hansen.
A little bit more of a self-assured start for AFC Toronto in the second half. Characteristic giveaway by Emma Regan there, though.
Tempo, asserting herself. Lovely run. Couldn't quite find the finishing pass. No
but did really well to find the space there to drive into it, to create it for herself, because she had two AFC Toronto players on either shoulder, and a quick little touch, deft maneuver to get out of it, and created an opportunity into the final third, but wasn't able to connect with the teammates.
First touch on a feet taken down. They'll play the advantage.
Another shot by Regan there. Smashes it against the woodwork. But really well worked by AFC Toronto. So get the ball wide, and it cuts back. Ashori lets it run, and then Regan unleashes that shot again. We saw it. You were just alluding to it, Signa. And they're just on the edge of the 18 and almost draws level. Montreal Roses need a little bit more out of Megan Sauvé, the co-captain. Robert Rassitoyu was talking about how impactful she can be, lead by example, uses her voice when it's required, but usually she lets her game do the bulk of the talking, and had a quiet first half, involved a little bit, and here kind of not really finding the ball and not getting on it as often as you would like, and this attack. And, you know, this Montreal Roses team need her to be part of the build-up.
Boysa, the other co-captain, along with Sauvé, pushing the ball through. Uddenberg back to Manor. Long clearance up towards Paul.
Good win by Smith, right to Paquin.
Paquin, nearly found a gap. Abdu looking for Abdu to run on, and that took a deflection, so we will see a Montreal corner. You talked about Sauvé. Played in Portugal after her time at the Montreal Carabins in youth sports. Nice to see some youth sports athletes in this league this year. There's over a dozen of them in the league. Sauvé going on to play in Portugal. It was all too good to come back home, and here is Abdu on the corner kick. Abdu going to the far post, that's well hit, and that's well hit, oh my, over top of the net.
Abdu floats that in, and I'm thinking it needs a little bit more venom, needs to be whipped in a little bit more, but Sauvé, we were just talking about her lack of involvement, but she's there, she's marked, but managed to get a head on it, and lays it off for Paquet, and just can't quite get her body over that ball, and sails it just over the bar.
Very nearly a 2-0 lead for Montreal. That's a nice touch by Ashuri. Well recovered from Whitaker. Back to Karpenko. Austin, Okoronkwo. Small's been active in this game. Katempo going 1v1. Regan the cross. Uddenberg.
Second ball's almost all going the way of AFC Toronto at this point. Signa, that might tip the scales in their favor.
Flag is up for offside.
We've seen Whitaker on this side a couple plays ago make that recovery, just able to beat Ashuri to the ball. Plays simply connects with the teammate. That's what she needs to do more of, because right now that is a little bit of a vulnerability to the Montreal Roses.
KG manages to get enough of a tackle there to disrupt Paquet. Rockwell. Regan. out of Uttenberg. Uttenberg, also from Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Montreal Rose is just content to sit in their shape right there, even though that ball goes in behind of Edinburgh.
Pickett covered quickly. Does well to get out of that. Great battle with Lees, and there's a Shuri. And Small down Okareko! Squeeze in! Oh, what a shot by Karpenko! Karpenko came to play.
There to ensure that it's not coming back across the face of goal. But Small, great little pass. Just in behind. Karpenko comes out, she's up to the task, and again on Emma Regan, who's there right at the top of the box for the third time in this game. But Karpenko's got her angles covered even as she scrambles to get in the way.
Karpenko 2 call-ups to the senior camp for Team Canada. Get another call with saves like that. Ball up and in. And out of bounds.
We've seen Nikki Small now. I felt it might be Victoria Pickett. We've seen Pickett be involved a little bit, but Small to me is the one that's pulling the strings as AFC Toronto look increasingly more dangerous as this game ticks on, and that just little slip pass in for Okoronkwo doesn't really trouble Karpenko. She's up to the task, she comes out big, she comes out aggressive to thwart it, but the setup by Small was brilliant.
Well, escape the pressure.
And that gives it away.
Emo all the way back to Karpenko, having herself quite a match. That was the broadcasting team. Luckily it was only distribution. Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes clearing danger is all that you need to do when that box is ticked. Quite literally, if you're the goalkeeper.
Communication on the throw, and now in transition, Montreal. Just off the foot. Out of the reach of Abdu, I should say.
Ball there. I think Bidbo does better or would do better to hold on to it a little bit, take an extra touch, maybe put her foot on it, because it ends up being almost a square pass to Abdu and it runs out of play.
Oh, Sauvé now. Sauvé on the attack.
Clever touch away from the defender.
Touch there as well. The captain's working it a little bit and off the foot of Abdu, who Ashley Docking was talking about earlier. Abdu making her way back after playing in Premier League in France, various clubs, most recently Guignon.
Julia Lees pay really close attention to Nikki Small and getting drawn out of that back line, maybe making some space for Toronto. Settles back in, and they've got their shape again.
Ball. Some space there. Katembo putting some pressure on. That'll go all the way back to Karpenko. Oh, just out of the reach of Ashuri. Robert, Rosatoyu, just talking about Karpenko and her maturity level. You know, she has played at Youth International World Cup, 2 of them, U17 back in 2018, the U20 World Cup in 2022, those senior call-ups as I mentioned earlier, but just a certain amount of maturity that, you know,
that is
goalkeepers tend to be maturing later.
Late challenge there by Nikki Small, and lucky not to go in the book for that one. Yeah, to your point about Karpenko, you're good enough, you're old enough, and I think at 23 years old, you know, you maybe give the nod if she's neck and neck with Lambert, but she gets the #1 call today.
I do. Like it to go one-on-one. Like a dangerous cross in there, but AG is there to clear it away.
You think of the years ahead of her, so she's showing that composure, that maturity, that presence right now back there, and that the aggressive nature of her play, but I think that it's underpinned by a positional awareness that lends her game that maturity. And it's ice in her veins as well. We've seen her on a couple of occasions, really calm, balls at her foot, doesn't panic, finds a teammate. Save for that one occasion where you talked about how great she was playing, put it out into the stands.
It was my fault.
Settled into this game a little bit more as well, where seeing her more self-assured, and then you get that player at the back show that confidence, and it gets imbued into the rest of the side.
Former Korea Young Player of the Year, and we did expect this substitution. Kaylee Hunter, the 17-year-old Canadian Youth International, helping the U17s qualify for the World Cup in 2025 in Morocco, sees her first Northern Super League action coming in for Nyota Katembo. Kaylee Hunter has a hunger, is how it's described. She just doesn't get rattled, and we shall see what this teenager has in store for the show here at BMO Field. Foul.
As well, it's what you want to do. You substitute, come in, give your team a lift, get on the ball immediately, and does well, shrugs off a challenge and wins a free kick for a team. See, that's the nature of her game, where she's progressive, she wants to get turned, she wants to take on, but even in the middle third, she's able to turn her defender and get something for her team.
Okarako with the flick on. Hunter laid it off to Burnett. Burnett sliding it in. Timely tackle.
A really well-timed slide and tackle by Capadonna. It had to be precise. The timing had to be executed to perfection, and she does so there. You've seen Kaylee Hunter, 2 involvements really early on. Her form was so good, Signa, that I was surprised to not see her name as part of that starting 11. You know, and sometimes there, if you've got 2 players neck and neck, does your age work against you a little bit? You have to wonder. I don't think that's the way Milanovic coaches, but maybe he was thinking Kaylee Hunter, the type of energy that she gives, that hunger that she has that you just talked about, really well served to give her team a lift and a boost with half an hour approximately left to play.
We'll see if there's any more changes to be made. The Montreal Roses have made a change. Claire Monyard from London, Ontario, coming into the game. ID'd at a November tryout among 100-plus athletes. There is the injury to Esther Okoronkwo. She's just taken a beating all game. I mean, that's what you get for a hold-up striker sometimes.
Yes, and some of them have been a little bit exaggerated, but she's been kicked all game long for about an hour or so now, so deserves a little bit of rest. Gives her teammates a chance to regroup, and she gets a little bit of medical attention, but you wonder if maybe that board is going to be shown, is going to flash Okoronkwo's number pretty soon here. Maybe, I don't know if her race has been run yet, but maybe Milanovic is thinking maybe another substitute coming.
Well, he is down in the striker department. No Maya Jones, no Amanda West, no Leah Pace, no Jade Kovacevic. Their first ever signing in NFL history.
Yeah, so great depth across the roster. I think an impressive one. You might even arguably the most impressive one on paper, league-wide. But certainly that strike force, that depth across the front line has been suffered a blow here with the injuries to four of them and four big players, big names.
Jersey tug over there, lucky to not get flagged for that. But Montreal is on the attack, just off the foot of Haley Whitaker, 5-year-old.
Sorry, so you think Whitaker, really good spells, good moments, good interventions, and then it swings the pendulum all the way to the other side where really poor, almost just mental mistakes. So you wonder if the nerves are getting the best of Whitaker.
Okoronkwo called on into Haley Hunter, trying to slide the ball across. Nikki Small just too far over to the right. Wojciech doing well to hold up play. Great battle in there. Wanyard with her first touch of the game. Sauvé called for a foul. See great spirit of the game with these athletes. Pickens cramping up there and helped out by Sauvé.
Did go at the same time, trying to rally your team, keep everybody engaged, make sure they're all on the same page as well. And I had questions, quite honestly, about Bidbo's fitness, because she had been idle for almost a year. She was an early signing, somebody that was sought after by Marinette Pichon, and then kind of one of these marquee signings that you build a roster around, but you still have to get your feet underneath you. You have to get up to speed with your form and your reps and the volume so that you're prepared to play, 65 minutes plus. Hopefully 90 for Robert Rafitoyo.
They're at the 65th minute mark, as Amy says. Bo was one of those players that Rafitoyo said, she's not wearing an armband, but she essentially is. She's one of those leaders on this team.
She absolutely is. And, the Montreal Roses, being a team from Montreal, will be doing things bilingually. It's important to speak French, and she's the lone player who's trying to sort out the English and make connections with her teammates who are maybe unilingual Anglophone, but does it in her own way, and she's beloved in that room because I think of her aura a little bit and the bags of experience that she brings, but certainly leadership. And special leadership to kind of not relinquish the armband, but to say it's more important for Wojciech and for Sauvé to have it. A couple of
some heavy tackles here.
A little bit reckless.
And Bibo will get the card there, the French international, 56 caps, and she knows that one. First foreign player signed to Montreal's roster, getting the first card of this match. Barnett on the ball. On KG. Closed down quickly by Solveig. Small. Okaronko. Again, needs to stay in balance is Shayna Shuri. Shuri, one of those leaders on the team as well, says that she relishes that role. She did that in Iceland when she played over there. The 28-year-old brings a lot of experience.
Got a little bit close. A little bit.
Hiccup.
Yeah, goes her way, gets the bounce. There's danger. Maybe a little bit too close for comfort there.
AFC Toronto free kick on the far side of the pitch. Looking to get this sellout crowd on their feet. And Barnett once again on the ball. A little bit of sunshine peeping out. Barnett curled in and punched away. Out of danger.
We've seen Barnett on those set pieces and threatening with that one where Karpenko uncharacteristically stays rooted on her line, is able to fist it away or parry it away, but that was certainly threatening and a teasing ball sent across by Barnett.
Up over top. Ashuri giving chase. Handled by Jody Smith.
Led by Smith when called upon, hasn't been asked to do a whole lot, but has been reliable.
That's a nice ball. Barnett. Closed down by Haley Whitaker. Defending by Whitaker to prevent any penetration. Got another AFC Toronto player down on the far side of the pitch.
That's Ashuri.
Ashuri. Here's another look at that. What did you see here?
Yeah, that was that great free kick again by Barnett, where you've got numbers with the Roses, and maybe a little bit of a lack of communication from Karpenko there, a little lack of initiative, and needs to be less hesitant and get out and either parry that away, punch it away, or go out and grab it, but be a little bit more forthcoming and just let her teammates know that she's coming out. Big keeper call and come up and grab it. Defending Smith, I mentioned there that Smith has done her job when required, and then Ashuri stretches for that ball to try to block it, and you hope that it's just a little bit of cramp, but it could be the groin, calf, or just as she's extending the legs fully there to try to get her foot on the ball. There, Monyard was late in applying the pressure and should have just backed off, but had committed to that challenge and was always going to be late.
Regan not pleased with that, having some words with Carly Shaw McLaren, just as the captain does. Barnett. Hong Hae-ji is up on the attack. Barnett Quickly on the end of that. Unberg. Looking for the through ball. Karenko. But Karpenko is off her line and scoops it out of danger.
I'm not sure that was the ball there by Edinburgh looking for Karanko, but doesn't really have the angle on it, nor the space in behind.
Regan. Hunter.
See how aggressive AFC Toronto are being. I think now with the Shorey and Barnett really high when AT is in possession, and that back three is quite narrow, and you've got the width provided by Barnett and Shorey on either side, and being quite aggressive, almost 4 across the front line, looking to try to stretch and find those pockets of space, not only for Pickett underneath that front line, but looking to find those little seams. Maybe play Okaranko in behind, just that little slip pass that we saw Small play to some success earlier on in this half.
Hunter gets the ball over top. Hunter looks for a crack and block. Regan spraying it out wide. Ashuri looking one-on-one. Small. Toronto lurking. Small. Tackled in the nick of time.
And you're seeing Emma Regan, she's really dynamic, really involved in looking for that combination play, looking to try to create overloads, and Nikki Small again, taking initiative, taking players on, getting in the box, and forcing the Montreal Roses to either tackle risky in the box or put it out and you earn another corner.
15 minutes remaining in the second half, the second game of the NSL season. AFC corner kick. And it's up! Oh, just wide! Big opportunity for AFC Toronto to tie up this match.
And if I'm Barnett, I am putting the ball in that space every single time. That in-swinging ball right on the edge of the stick, just inside it, is causing Karpenko problems. You saw her hesitate on the corner previously, and now it's in her head.
Ball. Sauvé. Ball to the far post, and AFC Toronto lucky that there was no one on that side. Nanner picking up the ball.
Lanyard sent that. I don't know if it was a try on goal, but Ali Hess was able to get a boot on at the far post, but there was nobody kind of trailing to put their foot through that ball. That's the first chance and the first kind of probing attack by the Roses in a wee while here. So you've really seen AFC Toronto come out in the second half, and the field is tilted firmly in the direction of Anna Karpenko.
Whitaker. Far side of the pitch win. Coming from the far side into the center part of the field. That'll be a foul on Nikki Small.
Yeah, good step by Lees there to get in front of Small. We haven't called Ali Hess's name a whole lot, but for all the on-the-ball work that Charlotte Villebeau has had, you have the ground covered, you have the shuttling, and you have the defensive work without touching the ball so much by Ali Hess. So an important call in the middle of the pitch for the Roses.
Shuri looking for a probing run there from Emma Regan. With a quick clearance, Edinburgh manages to get a head on it. Edinburgh. Okaranko.
was Okaronko initially in that offside position, who touches the ball first, comes back. No problem with the pass to try to release Hunter, but it was that initial ball where you saw Megan Sauvé get beaten cleanly and Pickett kind of spring forward and was able to connect with Okaronko, but offside, and that comes back. So you mentioned AFC Toronto kind of lurking and really pressing the Roses, staying on the front foot, but you could say the same thing for Okaronko, where kind of fits and starts in her play, but whenever she's on the ball, whenever she's around it, she's dangerous for Toronto.
Some substitutions getting ready to come into the game. We approach final 10 minutes. Regan with space. Ashuri releases too quickly to Small, but Montreal's not taking any chances at this stage of the match. Small lets it run by. The cross in. Oh! Well, Hunter on the header there, but
Yeah, and
I think another collision there in the box.
yeah, collision to the head and coming together, at least of two heads, and a quick whistle, always by the referee. Oh yeah, Capitana gets absolutely crunched. Blindside by Hunter. No ill intent in that. She's going for the ball, but just unaware that Hunter is right there and catches her on her blind side.
Aoi Kazaki of Japan coming into the match for AFC Toronto in the midfield, coming in for Esther Okaronko. It looks like Small will move up. And two substitutions for the Montreal Roses as well. See Laurie Thibault come into the match in the midfield for the Montreal Carabin program, as well as Mathilde Lachance. Lachance, 21. Small. We go 1v1 and backed up very well by the Roses. Away from the Roses. Again, 10 minutes remaining in this second Northern Super League game, the inaugural season of the Women's Professional Soccer League in Canada, the first ever. Kazaki. The through ball to Pickett! Karpenko is there. Very solid game from Anna Karpenko, playing in front of her friends and family. Richmond Hill, Ontario native.
And we're seeing no issues with Karpenko when she's coming out, the timing of her intervention on those through balls, whether she's coming out to block or coming out to claim or clearing with feet, that has been impeccable today. What's been called into doubt is the timing and perhaps the hesitancy around the corner kicks and coming off of her line there and maybe communicating with the players in front of her.
had a couple of hard tackles since entering the match. Ludford looking forward.
Are cognizant of that because they are sitting in their shape right now, but AFC Toronto is dictating this game to them, and you're thinking, okay, well, the Montreal is up 1-0. They don't have to do a whole lot, but you still want to be efficient in possession. Give yourselves a chance to take a breath, regain your composure, and their midfield in the second half has been thoroughly dominated by the likes of Emma Regan, Victoria Pickett, your wide players in Barnett and Tembo, and then laterally with Hunter and Ashori on the right side.
Regan. Pickett looking for a run. Ashori. Again, looks like more cramping here. Kayla hands it down.
Maybe some pickle juice is required.
Pickle juice or that spicy mustard.
No, I know. Did you see? I think it was in the NWSL last year where they had like the reaction from the various players receiving those on the pitch. That's some good content, right?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say the Northern Super League's been knocking the content out of the park.
They really have.
For sure.
Yeah, doing an excellent job of giving these players a platform not only when they're on pitch, they're able to express themselves and show what they can do on the ball or off the ball in front of their fans, but everything that is off the pitch and community and what their brand is about, what their team's about, their philosophy, and the people behind the players and the people behind the organization, and that's what's compelling. That's what fans are going to get stuck into. That's the hook, right?
Yeah. And I love what Cara said off the top. You know, this is 135 plus players that have taken a chance on a brand new startup league, and not just the players. It's the coaches, it's the admin, it's the referees, it's everyone involved in this league that has taken a chance on a startup league, which is aiming to be, and from all accounts is, a top 5 league in the world stage. So congratulations to Diana Matheson and that whole crew for conceptualizing this league and bringing it to Canadians. Lachance. Intercepting. KT will safely put it out of trouble with Lori Thibault chasing her down.
Yep, it's a better ball. Thibault makes a good run. Thibault is able to spot her. She's not able to get on the ball and make anything happen from it, but they're able to progress the ball up the pitch, able to kind of get, their feet back underneath them, take a breath, and get reorganized.
Chance to throw. Battle with Barnett and Boychuk.
Yeah. And you mentioned youth sports players and the way that they're represented in this league, and you've got two Universités de Montréal and Carabin on the pitch right now with Megan Sauvé and Thibault.
And another one coming into the match now as Tanya Boychuk comes out of the game as we look back in the opening 2 minutes of the match.
Yeah, be able to capitalize. It's a terrible giveaway, but you still have to finish when you're given that opportunity. And Tanya Boychuk does it and goes and writes her own name in the history books, right? First goal scorer for the Montreal Roses.
A And Montreal securing their back line with Stephanie Hill coming in, the 6-foot McGill alumni, coming into the match, like another youth sports athlete for Tanya Boychuk, the game's goal scorer. 3 minutes to play, plus added time. AFC Toronto desperately looking for a goal, but Montreal has been solid from the back. A young back line at that as well. Thibault.
Good decision by Thibault there, just to put her foot on the ball, go back, find that chance, recycle the ball. Great ball by Thibault to release Thibault. A little bit too heavy.
Turn to Barnett. Barnett looking forward. Ball. Huddenberg moving forward. Sliding the cross into Small. Small. The cross. Cleared high and away. From Thibault.
Sneaks forward for AFC Toronto, completely comfortable and has the versatility to play higher up the pitch, which AFC Toronto is going to need her to do as they're looking for that equalizer.
Sauvé will just take her time, run down this block on the left side. Sauvé, Thibault, Lachance. Capadonna, pardon me. There's Lachance. Et Laval player. So 5 minutes of added time. So there is opportunity here for AFC Toronto, but Montreal has locked it down in these final minutes, holding on to a 1-0 lead. Pickett. Pickpocket it. Hong. AG in there for the tackle. Kizaki. Barnett. Handled by Karpenko. Getting louder at BMO Field, 14,500.
Maybe seeing the slight unease again there with the vulnerability of the Montreal backline with Karpenko in behind them, where there was no danger in behind Lees, in behind Hill on that initial cross before it ended up with Small on the far side. But Karpenko, I don't know if she's not communicating it, but makes them vulnerable as the ball comes back across with a header on the good opportunity they got the second go round.
Barnett, another cross in! The stop by Asuri. Karpenko is there. A nice build-up by AFC Toronto.
Karpenko just content to knock it out of play. It's a curious one.
Barnett playing it forward to Hansen, who was running forward.
right, all 6 feet of me.
Oh, Manor fought twice. And it's offside. So halfway through this added time. Manor looking forward. Shuri. The target. Zaki getting in on the ball. Well won by Sauvé. He's laying it in.
That's good game management, good heady play there by Megan Sauvé. Finds her ex-Carabin teammate Laurie Thibault, and they just slow things down a little bit. Sense of urgency by AFC Toronto. You're seeing Emma Regan creep up a little bit higher, but the longer that the Roses are able to keep them hemmed in their own end, the better it is for the Montreal side.
Manor. Long, towering kick, but again, the power in the center back position. Hill getting it out of trouble. Hanson. Small. Looking for Small. Kazaki getting a head on it. Frantic final minute. Kazaki. Small. It's still Small. Playing it through to Barnett. Wow! Carpenco! And she snags it.
That's Hunter. Always elusive. Always dangerous. And Carpenco again comes up big for the Montreal Roses. So Nikki Small again been dangerous all day for Toronto. And then Kaylee Hunter just playing off the shoulder of Lees. I'm not sure if she sees her. Hunter finds that seam between Capadonna and Lees. But again, the timing of the intervention from Carpenco. She's really been on her game today in that regard, playing tight to her back line and just thwarting, the balls that are just slipped through, properly weighted, but goalkeeper's there every time.
Calgary native Kaylee Hunter, the 17-year-old, denied by Carpenco. And is that the last opportunity AFC Toronto has in this match? Sauvé, the veteran. And that'll be the game. Montreal Roses FC comes into BMO Field, picks up the 1-0 win, and the clean sheet goes to the woman from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Anna Carpenco, with a couple of key stops, Amy.
You got to think in the second half where that was all AFC Toronto, Montreal Roses were just content to sit back and put the ball in the stands and clear danger time after time. Carpenco was massive for the Roses, but hat tip also to Robert Rascoyo for the tactical substitution towards the end of the game to take Boychuk off and to insert Stephanie Hill, and that swung the balance of the loose balls, the 50-50s, the aerial duels in Montreal's favor, so they were able to lock down the game.
And lockdown they did. A win column, just like the Vancouver Rise on Wednesday night. It feels good when you're on the road in front of a sellout crowd, the first sellout crowd in Northern Super League history, and there is the woman that got it done, Tanya Boychuk, taking advantage of that early mistaking.
Absolutely, that's what it was, and we knew that this was going to be a nervy match. It was a first game in this new league for both of these sides, but you had weapons on either side, and it was who was going to be able to capitalize on those mistakes. You saw in the first minute a really terrible giveaway by Katembo, and Tanya Boychuk didn't think twice. Said, "Thank you very much for the gift, and I will slot this home to the left of Manor," and they'll take the win and they'll head back home to Montreal.
Well, Game 2 of the Northern Super League, an introduction to two more clubs and an entertaining football match. But in the end, it was the visiting Montreal Roses FC 1, AFC Toronto 0. More from Kate and Cara after the break.